Hello, hello. My name is Madame, and this is your astrology report. So, I'll be talking about the full moon in Sagittarius that happened today on 31st of May. I'll also be consulting my astrology report that I've written on the Substack, link in show notes, and I will end this with a tarot reading. So, let's begin. On the 31st of May at 9:44 a.m. West African time, there will be a full moon in Sagittarius. Full moons bring about completions, releases, and culminations of old cycles to give way for the new. The house Sagittarius is located in your natal chart will experience this activity. Sagittarius is a fire sign ruled by the planet Jupiter, the planet of expansion, optimism, hope, and luck. It represents travel, philosophy, values, and optimistic thinking. At the time of the full moon, the planet will be in the sign of Gemini, which represents communication, information, trickster energy, etc. Now I'll give you some examples of how this transit will translate in your natal chart. Example one, if you have Sagittarius in your second house of values, self-worth, work, esteem, and income, and Jupiter in Gemini in your eighth house of intimacy, shared resources, inheritance, sex, etc., you can expect these experiences to occur. Number one, the completion of a cycle in which you underestimate your worth and sell yourself short. Instead, you nurture a broader perspective on who you are, understand your value, and act accordingly. This may look like asking others for what you want and having them be willing to share their resources with you. Number two, closing a chapter in your work/job in which you weren't treated as valuable. Elevated changes in your self esteem, which reflect in your approach to your job, what role you seek, and the income you want. Discovering new philosophies through transformative one to one connections that positively contribute to your values and you upholding them. Number four, reevaluating your values and habits and aligning them with who you truly are, not society's expectations. Number five, an increase in self worth, which elevates your intimacy with others, approaching intimacy from a more intellectual place, willing to show your intelligence. Moving to the next example. If you have Sagittarius in your first house of self, body, approach to life and identity, and Jupiter in your seventh house of marriage, business partnerships, and relationships, you could experience the release of certain ways you saw yourself and the identity associated with it, thus impacting the way you approach and show up in relationships. Number two, experiencing a more expansive view of self and becoming aware of the limiting beliefs and perspectives that hindered your growth, thus changing your approach to life. Number three, asserting your identity more in all manner of relationships by communicating clearly using Jupiter and Gemini's energy. Number four, beginning a new cycle after the release of old identities and getting to know the new versions of yourself. So those are some examples. It will be different for everyone because people have Sagittarius in different aspects of their natal chart. I will speak on how this transit has impacted me so far. So, firstly, a couple of things that I noticed was that I came into some unexpected money a couple of weeks before the full moon. Okay. Then I got a bit more money around the holidays, which was very nice, honestly. Then around the Eid celebration, I started to learn new perspectives about myself. Number one, my Sagittarius is in my second house. So I don't only see that house as a house of value in terms of material possessions, but as a house of self-esteem, self-worth. So that came to light during my Eid celebration because I invited friends from back in the day and they ended up coming and it surprised me. I don't know why. And, one of my besties was like, that's, why would you be surprised? You know what I'm saying? And I started to people caring. That's why they're showing up. And I started to be like, oh, wow. And then, as a grown woman of 32, I was thinking to myself, I don't want to be thinking this way about me, that people going out of their ways, them, inconveniencing themselves and not looking at it as people willing to inconvenience themselves or not even see it as an inconvenience to show up for me. That was a beautiful realization for me because I said, I no longer want to think that way in regards to who I am as a person. I want to see myself as that person that is of high value, that is valued by the people that know her and that will show up for her. They choose to show up for her without me asking them of anything. So I love that. So that was one thing because Sagittarius is really about seeing things from an expanded point of view. So wherever Sagittarius is in your natal chart, start to see things from a bigger place. And linking it back to Jupiter, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter is currently in Gemini. For me, who has Sagittarius in her second house. So that means that the house opposite this house is the house in which Jupiter is in, which is the eighth house. As I said in the first example, when you have Jupiter in Gemini, your eighth house, and you have this full moon in Sagittarius, these two houses are linking. The eighth house has to do with your shared resources. So as I begin to see yourself as somebody that is of higher value, you're also willing to take the risk to ask for what you want from the people around you. So people are more willing to share their resources with you because you've asked. And because you see yourself as worthy of asking and worthy of deserving, you're not holding back. You're not hoping that they know what you want. You're being confident enough to ask for what you want, which is that Gemini energy as well. Communication, clarity. Okay. So think about how that plays into your houses. All right. Once again, Jupiter is in Gemini and it's the ruler of the Sagittarius full moon. So whatever Jupiter is doing is also going to impact this house that Sagittarius is in. So let's bring in communication more into this house of self-worth and self-value and high esteem. By communicating and asserting yourself, by speaking, that's how people will know that you value yourself. You get what I'm saying? By showing up for yourself vocally, by respecting yourself and showing it, that's how people will respect you. So it affirms your self-beliefs, your value, your esteem. All right. So that's what has been showing up for me. I loved when I was like that. I'm no longer going to see myself as that person anymore. And then let me even bring it back. I started to think I've been auditing my life, people that I've dated, all of that, friends. And I realized that I've always had great like guy friends that they uphold a high standard for themselves. They're ambitious, they're driven. You know what I'm saying? I've always honed in on having friends like that. The guys that I have that I now realize that I do have, I've always been top guys, which is really good. Now, ask me why that has not applied to dating. All right. I'm not saying all of them, a number of them are stand up guys, especially as I got older. Yes, okay, a number of them. But majority of them were not really guys that were adding value to my life. That's the truth of the matter. They were adding value. Were they as ambitious? I don't really think so. You know what I'm saying? So I started to think, and this is me being vulnerable here. I was like, it seems as though I friend zone top lads, guys that have high standards, that are ambitious, that are driven, that have great taste in women, that have great taste in lifestyle. Those are my friends. But the guys that I've dated have not been guys. Maybe they do have those dreams, but their actions don't really work towards it. Yeah, that's what I've noticed. They just have the dreams, really. So some want to try and live through you. Some try to manipulate you, what you have and what you're experiencing. Those are the things. Yeah, and others, they've just been okay. They've just not been driven, that they want to change the world. So I started to think about that and I said, okay, that's also another self worth issue. Are you thinking that those relationships with these people will inspire or require you to do more for yourself? And so you keep it as a friendship, whereas with the guys that you date, they don't really challenge you to that point. They may encourage you, but is it really a challenge to step up? I started to think about that and I was like, that is so not me. So I'm in this space of coming back to myself in the sense of, I know that is not the person I truly am would do. Those are not the decisions I would make. I've been playing this safe because I've not been my real self, true self. Yeah, there are layers to this because yes, you shed layers, you keep shedding layers. And, as I said before, full moons are about releases. So you're shedding things that don't align with you anymore. I know that is not who I am, these decisions I've made, which is why I'm very welcoming and happy about my 30s because these are my most clear years. This is where I'm the most awake. But I do recognize the versions of me that brought me here because despite not being awake in life, I still had this vibrancy to live life to the fullest. I've had really beautiful life experiences by myself with life as opposed to in relationships, per se, friendships and all of those things. Yes. And honestly, if I'm really being honest, I'm done with that. I don't do my standards for what I want in life are now finally mirroring the standards of the people that I've befriended that are a reflection of me, but were a reflection of me that I didn't have the capacity to be at the time. So that's a really, really good reflection on self-worth. So that's what has been coming up for me a lot. And well, I'm really happy that money has come into me as well. This is the most stable I've been, and I'm really sitting with it and just enjoying it. And honestly, I have no regrets. So far, so good. And the worth issue, how I see myself, I think as that is changing, the money is just coming into my hand as well. And I feel very stable and secure within myself. So I would say what I've shared is a low way of seeing myself. Now see that I deserve a lot more. I now see that the lifestyle that I want is attainable. I now see that I need to triple the work that I'm doing to get to where I'm going. The work never stops. And I'm okay with that. So that is what the full moon in Sagittarius has shown up for me. And more is coming because I also feel this need to travel. I'm not going to lie. I've just been saying, oh gosh, I need to travel. Sagittarius has to do with travel, long distances, Also, wisdom and spirituality. My spiritual life is becoming a lot more intense in a good way. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I want to see how far that goes. So that's me with the full moon in Sagittarius. With Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter being the ruler of Sagittarius, there's this expansive view of shared resources, people's resource, people around me and the resources they have and how, they could share that with me without me being entitled. You get how it can help to benefit me. This is Lagos. Everything is about connections and what people can do and all of that. So it's one of those themes where that house explores those themes when it comes to people and their resources. It also talks about inheritances. It talks about merging, union, sex. So, well, there's this expansion of energy around the resources aspect. I mean, yeah, I did feel a lot of like frisky energy in this Jupiter and Gemini, which I'm really enjoying. Yeah, I think that's our stuff. So let's me move to the general themes that you can expect with this full moon in Sag. Number one, releasing old values and philosophies that no longer align with your identity. Finally, manifesting an opportunity for long distance travel or completing a long distance journey. Learning new spiritual perspectives and embodying more wisdom about your existence. Exploring new philosophies and adapting them to specific areas of your life. Opportunity to expand knowledge through formal education or independent learning. Look an expansion in the specific house Sagittarius is located in your chart. So those are the general themes that you can expect. Now, there's a tarot reading, okay? And the cards I picked today for the tarot reading were the Nine of Swords in reverse, clarified by the Death in reverse. The Eight of Swords, clarified by the Page of Wands. The Knight of Wands, clarified by the Strength in reverse. And the Tower was the overall energy, starting with the Nine of Swords in reverse. Nine of Swords in reverse, clarified by the Death in reverse, speaks of you're not ending a cycle right now. This full moon in Sag is bringing up to you the cycles that you're yet to end, these cycles that have to do with you ruminating in your mind, and what you're ruminating on are negative things, limited beliefs, all these inner demons. There's a delay in you releasing that, and it may come from your personal limitations or how you see things or your limited perspective. But that delay in releasing these limitations and negative energies around you is what is delaying your personal transformation. If you lean into this full moon and allow yourself to release what no longer serves you, you're going to usher in a personal transformation that is going to journey you. Yeah, I just use that phrase. It's going to take you on a journey to who you truly are. Because Sagittarius is about authenticity and truth. Sagittarius is a philosophical sign. It's really about a higher meaning, a higher perspective. You understand? So you're really being ushered. If you answered the call and release these limiting beliefs around you, you'll be able to personally transform and be your more authentic self. That's why the next card is the Eight of Swords, which is clarified by the Page of Wands. The Eight of Swords talks about breaking free from limiting beliefs and constraints, breaking out of your comfort zone, allowing yourself to look at things from an expanded perspective. Wherever Sagittarius is in your chart, you'll find that you're being called. There's an invitation to look at things from a higher perspective, to have a widened sense of view, okay? Because right now you're hindered, your vision is hindered and you need to clear that, okay? When you're able to do that, the Page of Wands says that you find yourself moving to new horizons, having the opportunity to explore new things, having opportunities to do new things, to create. Okay. This talks about having opportunities for something, to do something in regards to a passion. Okay. The next card is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands talks about fast movement and transition. It talks about good news in terms of your work or social setting. So once again, I see you being given the opportunity to do something in terms of work, in terms of your craft. something that you're passionate about. I also see the opportunity for travel to explore new horizons. And it may not even be physically, it may just be mentally. Reading more, exploring a craft more, allowing your mind to travel, exploring philosophies, embodying new wisdom, learning new spiritual teachings. I see that there's this opportunity for you to travel, for you to explore. I see this opportunity is positive for you. I see a lot of fire energy and trusting what it is that you're passionate about. The card that clarifies the Knight of Wands is the Strength in reverse, which for me speaks about ego and not having to control it, not needing to control it, allowing it to run wild and free. Maybe this may have to do with your authentic side, like your wild side. Like maybe you've kept yourself under constraints for so long, not allowing yourself to be seen, but finally you're allowing yourself to be seen. You're being given the opportunity to be seen through these opportunities that are coming your way that align with your passion, your craft. Yes, you're being given the opportunity to be seen on a larger scale, on a bigger stage. And on this stage, who you truly are is required of you. I see the strength in reverse as saying that is that version of you that you've kept locked and on lock and key that you need to now reveal and show to people. That's the part of you that is being called, is being invited to travel, to see things, to explore. Oh, wow. And the overall energy is the tower. The full moon in Sagittarius is actually bringing in amplified energy because it's a blue moon. It's the second full moon in this month. So the spiritual energies are amplified. And one of the things that you're being pushed towards as a full moon does is towards release and transformation. The tower talks about transformation, upheaval, and disruption, not in a bad way. It may look like it, but it's not, because really all these things that are being demolished are things that had unsafe and unstable foundations. So they're falling apart, they're being destroyed. Okay. I also see that the transformation is coming from within. And that's why your outer reality is going to change. By changing how you see yourself inside, your perspective, you're also giving yourself the opportunity to change how your life is outside. You start to receive clarity, revelations, you start to rebuild stronger structures in your life. Yes, I see something about social standing, maybe even having stronger social standing as a result of being aware of how to utilize the things in your life based on where is in Gemini in your chart. Okay, for me, I see it in terms of shared resources because with the page of wands and the knight of wands, there's this invitation, an opportunity to work. It's like somebody is bringing in these messages of opportunity to you. So, allow yourself to run wild, allow yourself to run free, allow yourself to let go of limitations so that you can personally transform and be more of who you are and therefore receive everything that you're meant to receive in this life. And that is my tarot reading for you. If you'd like a tarot reading with me, please reach out to me. We have an Instagram, Perspective with Viv. I'm on Threads. What else? Yes, my email address. I will attach it to the show notes. Thank you so much. And yes, feel free to leave messages on how you find the episodes or send emails. Okay, I'll leave all the information in the show notes. Thank you so much. Bye.